one of the things that we many people shy away from is email marketing. And again, email marketing can be completely free for you. How does that work? Well, things like Aweber, which is the software that we use. Let me just have a sip of my coffee. Things like Aweber, which is the software that we use for automating our email marketing, is called an autoresponder. They offer a free option for people starting out. Now, with Aweber, and this changes from time to time, but I believe at the moment it is completely free for up to 5 registrations. So in other words, you get it completely free, not 500, and then you put in your customer database. They don't charge you until you go over the 500. Now that's what it used to be like. I'm sure, I haven't even looked this morning just to check, but normally they give it to you free, so you can use it, you can make the best use of it. It's limited, you don't get all of the use, you can pay for it and get all of the use, which is fantastic, but it's good enough. The free version is good enough for you to be mailing out to 500, at least 500 potential customers. So you can set it up and use it for free. Now, there's other autoresponders out there. I talk about Aweber because I pretty much know it inside and out, and anybody using it, I can help them with setting it up. But email marketing is quite often avoided by tradespeople, by small businesses, because they're concerned. They're worried about spamming. They don't understand how it works. There's a complete training in the toolbox that shows you how to use email effectively in your business. And apart from the time that it takes to sit down and write the emails, and you know what, you don't even have to freaking do that, because within the toolbox, you've got so many templates of various different emails that you can send out to your customers. There are sequences and series of emails already there for you just to adapt and use in your business. There are any number now of members who have written email sequences as well, who offer those to other members to use for their business also. But when it's used properly, you don't circumvent the GDPR rules and regulations. You actually work within those. You don't end up spamming or irritating or annoying people. But what you do end up with is, number one, having somewhere to keep all of your existing customers. So anybody who's ever done business with you, you can keep them within a marketing list, and you can constantly keep in touch with them. I don't mean irritate them. I don't mean blast out emails to them. There's a strategy that we use. Go use the toolbox and learn the strategy, but keeps your name on the tip of their tongue. Why? So that when they need an electrician, they come back to you. When their friends, their family, their colleagues need an electrician, they come and they use your services. So instead of them going, oh, where's that business card that I was given 6 years ago by that electrician, or how do I find his number, or let me go and have a look on Google, or let me go and find another electrician. They have your details. It makes it so easy for them to contact you. There's also strategies for working with letting agents. There's strategies for marketing to new clients as well. But email marketing, free in the first instance. Yes, I suggest that as soon as you can afford to upgrade and use the full services that Aweber offer, and obviously once you get over the 500 customers in your database, you will have to pay for it, but by then it will be paying for itself. So it's well worth using. Don't overlook the power of email marketing. Right, so that's email marketing. Next thing to look at is what we call joint ventures. I'm working with other local business people in order to well, to generate custom and to share customers. What do I mean by that? You have within your surroundings, within your area, you have other businesses who will be targeting the same type of customers that you target. Now, they may not have done all of the work that we do as far as understanding who your ideal customer is, but I can guarantee you that there are other businesses that are working in the home of your ideal customer, or your ideal customer is going to them. So what do we mean? Well, if we look at, say, like other trades, who do you know in your local area that is also going in and doing domestic work in local properties? You know, do you know, is there a local plumber? Is there a local heating engineer? Now, I've got to caveat this as well, and I'll say this once, it should go without saying. Don't just work with anybody. you need to be aware of this person's reputation. You need to be aware that at the very least they treat their customers right, and that they don't rip people off, and that they're not a fly by night. So with that said, then we can move on and talk about the different type of people that you could potentially work with. But do make sure, because at the end of the day, if you are going to be working together in terms of recommending one another and sharing customers and so on and so forth, you do not want their bad behavior reflecting on you. So make sure that the people that you decide to joint venture with are reputable people. You know, would you work with them? Have you worked with them? Would you let them into your home? That kind of thing. But there's any number of people, you know, the decorators, the locksmiths, the gardeners, all of these other local trades that are going in and out of people's homes. This is again a greatly underutilized resort. But to just explain that organizations like BNI and Business Over Breakfast and for whatever it's called, networking, all of these have basically monetized and made this a business for themselves, and it works fantastically well for them. Here's the thing, you don't have to do that. You can do it on your own, and all it takes is a phone and some emails and to set up meetings with these guys. And we did it. I mean, I was a member of BNI, but I also had networks outside of BNI that I used to meet with. And all you need to do, somebody has to instigate it, somebody has to get it off the ground. And that means doing some work. And this is the big part about making yourself stand out head and shoulders above anybody else, is being prepared to do the freaking work. Many people don't do the work because they sit back and think, well, it benefits them and I don't get this out of it and blah, blah. What you need to realize is you're building your business and you're building your network. Somebody once said to me, your network is your net worth. And if you build a good network of people around you, they will funnel work into you. So, you know, the very same principles that the likes of BNI and For Networking and all of these Business Over Breakfast, all of these organizations use, you can use yourself on a smaller basis, working with other local trades. Find the local plumber, the good guy. Find the local heating engineer, the good guy. Find the local locksmith, the local carpenter, the local not necessarily landscape gardener, but maintenance gardener. All of these guys who are going in and out of people's homes, who have an opportunity to cross refer one another. That when they're listening, when they're talking to their customer and the customer saying, oh, I've got a building project coming up, and they go, all right, well, you're going to need an electrician for that. Yeah, well, let me give you James's number. Boom. Right. All of these things. So build relationships with these people. And again, we talk about this. There's a training inside the membership area around doing this, about getting people involved, about phoning people, about sending out emails, having your initial meeting with people, explaining to them what you're trying to achieve, getting it up and going. Your commitment could be meeting once a fortnight. It could be meeting once a month. It could be meetings virtually online to structure this, but somebody's got to take control of it. And you could do that in your local area. And all you need is 4 or 5 people within your little network, and you will be funneling work to one another without the fees that these other networking organizations charge you, just from a bit of effort on your behalf. Other joint venture opportunities are other local businesses. So where else does your, you know, apart from the tradespeople, where else do your customers go? Where else do your potential customers go? Who else are they working with? One of the big ones that worked extremely well for me was hairdressers, particularly when I was rebuilding my business in London. Working with local hairdressers worked extremely well for me, because at that point, at that time, my ideal customer was an affluent housewife who was very much interested in looking after themselves, and they would go and have their hair done and their nails done and so on and so forth. So I built relationships with a number of different hairdressers, and the idea was that when they had the customer in their chair, they would talk about, the customer will be because you talk about all kinds of things when you're a barber or a hairdresser. You talk about all kinds of things, but they would talk about their life, and they'll talk about the work that they've got coming up, and how they're building a new extension, or they're breaking into the loft or whatever. And then the hairdresser then had an opportunity to say, oh, well, maybe you need to speak to James. And that's how these joint ventures work. They're a slow burn, but they work. Okay. So hairdressers was a fantastic one for me. There are other opportunities. All you've got to do is take a look around. Some of you will be able to build relationships with your local wholesalers. Wholesalers can be a tricky one because they have to be loyal to all of the people that go through their door. They can't be seen to favor everybody, an individual, because other electricians will get pissed off. But there are opportunities with independent wholesalers, and I certainly had one with my guy, with Mike, and he was an independent wholesaler, not part of a chain. And he used to pass me a lot of work as well. You know, somebody go in and buy a security light, he would ask them, you know, do you have somebody to fit it? And that work would get passed on to me. So there are a number of different opportunities as far as local businesses are concerned. Again, all you've got to do is think to yourself, and again, this goes back to the importance of understanding who your ideal customer is. Because when you know who your ideal customer is, you know what they do, you know where they go, you know what else they're at, then you know where to find people that they work with. You know where to think about what they do. Like for me, with the affluent women who pamper themselves, I knew hairdressers and beauticians were a good option for me to go and visit and talk to them and build relationships with. And there's a whole strategy around doing that, you know, about asking them and what do you give them in return. You know, for me, with the hairdressers that I worked with, what they got in return from me was an emergency call out, one for free, and then they got pat testing of their equipment once a year, which they needed for their. Now, I didn't do pat testing as a business because I could never make money out of it, but I had pat testers and I was able to do pat testing, so therefore I was able to offer it to them, and I did it for estate agents and stuff as well, but not as a main service. But it meant that I had something to give back to them for helping me. So they'd make introductions for me. I would do their pat testing free of charge. They have to have the pat testing done in order to satisfy their insurance to keep their business open. And I'd give them an emergency call out. So in other words, and it never happened, by the way, it never happened. Emergency call out, where if they turned up and there was a problem and they couldn't open up the shop, give me a call and I will turn up. That's just peace of mind for them, but it didn't cost me anything. So there's various different things, but there's strategies. I'm not going to start teaching the whole strategy. I just want you to be aware of what are the 3 things that you can do in order to market your business locally. Right. Next thing is walk-in introductions. Now, these primarily for me were with letting agents and estate agents. And again, I would target primarily the independent letting agents and estate agents. There were a few nationals that I worked for. There was a few chains that I worked for, but primarily I was targeting the smaller independents. Now, at the time I came off of the tools, I had 16 letting agents on my books. Now, that doesn't mean I was out every single day of the week working for letting agents. There is a strategy that we teach whereby you don't take all of their work and you don't want all of their work. But I'm not going to go teaching the whole strategy now. But what it meant by having 16 letting agents on the book was that there was always a trickle of work coming in from them. There'd be a little few jobs coming in every now and again, and it was helping to fill out and pad out the diary. Okay. But again, there's a strategy for this that is based around walk-in. You prepare. I'm not going to teach the whole thing, but I'll give you a brief overview. You can go and watch the videos on this in your member area. But you prepare a pack, and within that pack, it has all the information about you and your business. With that, during downtime, you know, you'll keep a couple of these packs in your van, and as you drive past an independent letting agent, you take 5 minutes out of your day, you knock on the door, you go in, and you ask, "Can I see the lettings manager, please?" And then you introduce yourself to the lettings manager if they happen to be there. You say, "I'm sorry, I don't intend to take up any of your time. I just want to leave this with you." And you leave them this pack. And in the pack, it has an introductory letter. Again, I'm not going to teach the whole strategy here. It has your qualifications, it has your insurance details, it will probably have a brief pricing schedule as well, and so on and so forth. And you leave that with them. Okay. The reason that we do that is because working with any letting agent, normally they need to have your details on file before they can actually send you to a tenant's property. Now, I know they don't always strictly stick to that, but that in the main is the rule. They normally have to have, they've got a proven credentials to say, we know who this guy is, we've checked him out, we know he's qualified, blah, 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 all of that. So, and they normally ask you for stuff to put on file, and then they start using your services. So preempt that. Don't wait for them to ask you. Bring that stuff to them. They can have it on file. So then when the first time they need you, which is normally going to be when their regular guy can't make it for whatever reason, he's sick, he's on holiday, or he's too busy, and they have a client screaming down their ear saying, I need an electrician here, I need an electrician here, I need an electrician here. Then they come to you and they go, we've already got this guy's details on file, so we can use him. They pick up the phone and they give you a call. That's just a brief outline of how the strategy works. It works a lot better than that. But that is a good strategy to use. It's walk-in strategy as well. Again, cost you nothing apart from printing off the stuff and sticking it into a like an A4 envelope to get it out to these people, and you do one every now and again as you're passing them. So that was that. Then the other thing, next thing to mention, free again, is networking. Now, most of you will jump at it and go, oh yeah, but these networking businesses, they charge you a fortune and it costs a lot. Typically, yeah, if you're going to do BNI or Bob over breakfast or whatever it's called for networking, any of those things, then there is normally a charge for it. However, each and every, and by the way, I'm not knocking them. BNI was a fantastic organization. I did a lot of business with BNI. And again, there's a strategy for using and working with networking organizations like this. But this morning, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the free aspect of this. And the point I'm making here is that all of these organizations, all of them, give you at least 1, 2, or 3 meetings, depending on the organization, that you can attend absolutely free. Why not take advantage of it? Why not learn and understand the strategy for working with networking? Not just turn up at a networking meeting like most people and go, oh, I don't know what to do and I don't know what to say because I wasn't expecting to be around so many people. Yeah, learn the strategy and then take advantage of the free market, the free networking that's out there. Go and visit your BNI, go and visit your for networking and so on and so forth. And most of these have 2 or 3 of these groups within your local area. You can visit each of them. So if you've got like 3 BNI meetings in your local area, go and visit each of them for free. And I'm not saying take advantage or take the piss. You know, you should be looking at it with a view to becoming a member. Absolutely. But also get experience networking and also make sure you're getting your name out there as well. Okay. So that's working free with the paid system. But there's also other elements of free networking that you can do. Your local council, I can guarantee you, they will host networking opportunities for local businesses from time to time. Now, during COVID, I think all of that pretty much came to a standstill, but I'm sure it will be seeing a resurgence. I know that even my local council, many of you know that the Innovation Centre where we have our offices is a council-run facility, and we get notifications from them about various different things that are happening. And I know now already that we're getting notifications about networking meetings that are coming up. And what happens is the council give over a room, they facilitate the meeting, and then they'll bring together local businesses, and they'll probably have some tea, coffee, biscuits, whatever, and an opportunity for everybody to introduce themselves at these various different events. There's a number of different free opportunities out there as far as networking is concerned. But like everything, guys, this involves you doing a little bit of work, researching and figuring out where these things are so that you can implement them in your business. We've talked about visiting paid groups. Initially, you get to go and visit these things for free. So make sure that you get involved and do that. By the way, don't be sold by the first person that comes to you and says, oh, you've got to come and join our group. We're fantastic. You've got to make sure if you are going to join a paid group like that, you've got to make sure that it's a right fit for you. I don't want to go into too much detail on that now because we're talking about free aspects. There's also a number of online opportunities these days as well for networking. And if there aren't no local digital meetup groups in your area, and quite often there are groups online with an opportunity for you to actually network with them. If there aren't, start one. Start a local business group You can do it very easily by starting a Facebook page. You can use a piece of software like we're using here now, which is StreamYard. I use the paid version of StreamYard. You can get the free version of StreamYard and use that. It's just as effective. You just have all their branding on it, and you can have online networking meetings with your other local businesses. All you got to do is start up a Facebook group where all local businesses, guys, this is so freaking easy, and some people do it and monetize it and make a fortune out of fucking doing it, and you could do it and use it to grow your business, and people don't do it. You start a Facebook group, you invite local businesses who are likely to be dealing with the same kind of customers that you are dealing with, and you allow them to cross promote. You allow them to explain to everybody what it is they do in their local area, whether it is the gardener, whether it is the plumber, whether it's the local graphic designer, whether it's the local web developer, whatever it happens to be in your local area. You can have online meetings, absolutely no cost to any of them. So of course they'll join it. You set up some rules for the group. You make sure that you monitor the group. That means jumping in once or twice during the course of a day. And then you can host and run little networking meetings where you bring everybody up on screen, like here on StreamYard. You can bring people up on screen, up to about 10 or 12 people on screen, and have a little networking meeting of your own, all completely free and all available to you as an online resource. I've mentioned previously about informal meets. That's you and a couple of tradesmen getting together over a breakfast, having a conversation, and seeing what you share in common in terms of customers. Who are you working with that can use your services? What can you do to help them? What business can you pass over to them? But there's a huge amount of stuff that you can do completely for free without having to spend a penny that will get you noticed in your local community. And all of the things that we've listed over the last 3 of these meetings, if you did every single one of them, you would probably never have to spend a penny on marketing your business, and you would be dominating your local area. Problem is, many people don't put the effort in to doing all of these free things. They don't see the gloss or the shine of the stuff that they can spend 600 or 800 quid on, or the type of lead generation that offer a quick fix but doesn't really solve the freaking problem, crack cocaine of our industry, where they sell you leads and you build nothing out of it. You can build a beautiful funnel of work coming into your business using a lot of these free strategies. Cost you nothing but your time and your effort. Go back and watch the videos, implement the steps, and I can guarantee you, you will have a phenomenal business in no time at all.